Let's talk vices. First of all, let's start with this new hat. Check that drip, boys. Thing's sweet. Fucking corduroy. Um, I want to talk vices though, and I want to talk about how we must be hyper vigilant in identifying vices before they get too far, so we can nip them in the bud. Especially negative vices. Now, I'm going to admit pretty early on, I'm still very conflicted with this topic. I kind of have an understanding where I stand, but I think there's so many nuances that I can't fully grasp a black and white opinion. I think there's a lot of gray area because I understand there's healthy vices out there. Whether that's the gym, like for me personally, the gym, writing, I'm trying to think what else. Hunting, those are healthy vices for me. I could do those ad nauseum, and I don't think it's gonna cause me any problems. Like except I do have this lump on my finger from holding a pencil and a pen for so long. It's like a callus built up on my finger. And I guess you can get hurt hunting, you get hurt working out, lifting, fitness, whatever. But I also don't think like you should be so obsessed with those vices to where like if you had to go without them that you would crumble. I think you should be able to shift gears and find other ways to bring yourself fulfillment, peace, happiness, whatever. But as I say that, I also believe you should find passions and do those passions until your eyes bleed if they make you happy and if that's what you want to do for a living. So I'm very just conflicted here because I don't want to say that all vices are not unhealthy, but all vices could be a problem. Like you shouldn't have these vices that you depend on so heavily, because I also believe you should have passions, and I think healthy vices could be passions, or passions could be your healthy vices. Like my passions in life: lifting, reading, writing, hunting. Those are my healthy vices, and I want to do those like for the rest of my life. And I don't think they're doing anything bad, but I also don't want to be a slave to them. I don't want to be controlled by them, if that makes sense. But I also think it's fine to be controlled by them. That's where I'm very conflicted in this argument. Now, it's much easier to talk about unhealthy vices, which I've seen, in my personal experience on this planet. I've seen unhealthy vices take control of people and ruin families and just ruin people's lives. Now, that's obviously, we know, inherently bad. We could all agree on that. That's not subjective at all. That's pretty blatantly objective. Unhealthy, bad vices that we should not be partaking in. And that should be figured out quick. Me personally, my unhealthy vices would be smoking cigars, popcorn, and just overall like binge eating. I enjoy binge eating. I like to just eat and eat and eat. And popcorn. Popcorn was a hard one that I had because the way I make it, it's pretty much like 0 calories, and I've lost the whole cut. I was eating this type of popcorn, and I still do, and I could lose weight. Like it doesn't make me gain weight, or it doesn't hinder me from losing weight. So I shouldn't say it's like necessarily a bad vice, although it does bloat me a little bit and can upset my stomach from time to time. But I go in and out of, well, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. But cigars is another vice that I had. It wasn't necessarily a vice, but it was like I just enjoyed it as a ritual with my dad and my uncle, whatever. But I really came to the conclusion that I don't necessarily absolutely love the taste, and I really don't want to suffer health consequences from smoking them when I don't really even enjoy the taste that much. I just enjoy the ritual and the experience of like sitting there and the bonding of smoking them. So I've stepped away from those a lot, to be honest with you. I've maybe smoked like 1 or 2 like Swishers in the past couple months, and that was just when I killed my my deer. Overall binge eating, that's one that I just, I've gotten under control, that I work at every single day to keep these negative vices under control. Because I will literally just eat until I don't even know. And it's not even got to be bad food. It could be good food like fruit. I'll just keep eating it. I'll eat a whole watermelon. And I wish I was like joking around and exaggerating, but I'm not. I really will eat a whole watermelon. Coffee, I guess, would be a negative vice now that I'm sipping it, actually. It's definitely a vice of mine. Um, and it's probably a pretty negative vice. Because, like, all that caffeine's not great for you. And that's one that I have not gotten anywhere even close to under control, and I don't plan on it. So I guess that's my one. That's my one vice, bad vice. Pop used to be a vice, but I stopped drinking that. 2023, I think, was my last pop. Yeah, because I went all of 2024 without pop, and I went all this year without pop. So I'll probably never drink pop again, realistically, because I'm fine without it because of Liquid Deaths. And before I even discovered Liquid Deaths, I was just kind of fine without it. You get used to not having it. But I think we need to be vigilant on identifying these vices early on before they get too deep entrenched in your consciousness and kind of control you. Like the popcorn thing, I have to go in and out of bouts, right? Where I take control of that vice and not just popcorn, but negative vices overall. And I keep myself constantly in check. This is my way of combating these vices is setting a couple weeks, like, where, for the next 2 weeks, I'm not going to touch this and see how I react, how I feel mentally and physically without these things. And popcorn's probably my hardest one right now. Not binge eating, not cigars. Cigars was fine. I didn't really think about it, but popcorn was brutal and is brutal because I don't like to have anything that controls me to the point where I think it's going to affect the outcome of the night or just my experience, right? So with popcorn, it was like, I thought a movie night is incomplete, like a movie night with my girlfriend. It's incomplete without popcorn. It's not even the same thing. It's not fun. It's not, I need popcorn. And once I was starting to feel that, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, I got to fucking reel this in and pull back on this because this is, this is getting out of hand. So I did that. And I'd go a couple weeks without popcorn, then I started eating popcorn, and then I go a couple weeks out without it. Like, I'm constantly combating my negative vices with this technique of reeling it in and eliminating it from my life for a little while and seeing how I react mentally, physically. And popcorn is definitely the hardest one. Like, even last night, I'm on like a 2-week break from popcorn, 10 to 14 days. And last night I wanted it so bad. So freaking bad for some reason. And when I take a break, I always like finish the popcorn that I have. I'm just getting like, also by the way, I'm not like getting bagged popcorn. I'm getting like just popcorn kernels. I put like 0-calorie spray butter in the pan with the popcorn, pop it, like air pop it like that on the stove. And then I have 0-calorie butter spray that I put on the popcorn with like 0-calorie or 5-calorie seasoning. So it's not like the packages that are a couple hundred calories. This is just like the fucking, it's, everybody but me and Matea fucking hate it pretty much. They're like, this tastes nasty. How do you guys eat this? But I'm like, I don't know. It's fucking good to me. And it's like a low calorie food that I could just fucking smash, which is also playing in with my other negative vice, which is binge eating. And those kind of go hand in hand there and relate to each other. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone when I take a break from popcorn. But yeah, this is a topic that I've thought about extensively, but I'm really just so conflicted on a black and white answer, and I don't think I could give a black and white answer. I think there's too much gray area in there because of the passions. I believe, like I said earlier, find passions and just be unapologetic about them, hammer them, and fucking do them till your eyes bleed, right? If that's what you love to do. But then I also don't think that anything in this world should control you, any activity or any substance, whatever, should control you to the point where you can't live without them. So it's hard. It's hard. But I urge anybody, be aware, be constantly have your detectors up on these vices, and be careful not to slip into one without even realizing it, because it's a whole lot harder to get out of, or you may never get out of it and it might destroy your life. I mean, we've seen this with drugs and alcohol in this world, and more things. It's not just those two, but there's an extensive array of vices that destroy people's lives, gambling and all that. So, and there's ones that are really sneaky that just come out of nowhere. Just be able to have the mental fortitude to go without anything in your life at this current moment, whether it's your phone, it's coffee. Listen to me, a fucking hypocrite. Anything that you know is negatively affecting your life that's a vice, make sure you can go without it. And even positive things, which I'm not going to say like reading, writing, going to the gym, because those are never going to hurt you unless you physically get hurt. Or like you're skipping things to go to the gym like I did when I was a young man, a really young man. I skipped family weddings to go to the gym. Now that's not good. But just keep these vices in check and try to live your freest and most mentally in control life you can. You guys know the drill. I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.